Hi everyone, my name is Adrian Feliu Talegon and this is my midterm project for the course 9467. On the first tab, we have all my raw data, and I have downloaded the dataset from the State of New York Open Data website. This data was divided in different categories, and I decided to focus on public safety to see how dangerous the state of New York is and the number of crimes. The first thing that I did was to delete some columns that were not providing important information, such as agency and months reported. As we can see, we have a very large dataset with 18,718 different rows. So here, pivot tables and Power View are going to be very useful. To better analyze this data, I have decided to divide this project in three key questions. The first question is to see the tendency of crimes over the different years. So I created this pivot table, and we can see that the data set is starting in 1990 and is finishing in 2015. And we have the total crimes that are happening in each different year. With this pivot table, I created a line chart. Let me make it bigger. Okay, here we have a chart line, and we can see that in 1990 there was more than 2.5 million of crimes, and in 2015 there was only around 1 million of crimes. Also, I added a trend line to better see the tendency of the crimes over the years, but here is very easily to see that there was a huge reduction over the years. Okay, now we are gonna move to the second question. Because we are living in New York, I'm gonna focus on New York City. I like going out at night and do different activities around New York City, but sometimes I am a little worried about my safety. So I decided to find out what is the most common crime in New York City. For that, I created a Power View. Here in the Power View, I filter it, and it's divided by regions. So what I did is I filter it and I selected only New York City because it's the information that we want. And to better see this data, I created a column chart. In this column chart, we can see that the property crimes is around 6.22 million. That is the highest one and the most common offense crime in New York City. And the lowest one is murder, with only 22,320 crimes. Now we are gonna move to the last question. On the last question, I wanted to know which county is the most dangerous one. To see that, first I created a pivot table. Here in this pivot table, we can see the total crimes by county. I have selected only the 10 county with the highest total of crimes because I am only interested in this part, and it's gonna be easier to make a pie chart with this information. And with this information, I created this pie chart. Let me make it bigger. Okay. So we can see that the New York, that it means Manhattan, because it's New York City, Manhattan has 14% of the total crimes is happening in New York, in Manhattan, and 14% is happening in Queens. To better see this data, I created another pivot table, this one, but here is very difficult to see the data because we have a lot of columns and a lot of different rows. So what I did is I created a slicer. So on the slicer we can select each county to better understand the information. So we are gonna choose, for example, Westchester, and we can see the information only for Westchester. So we can see the number of murders in Westchester, that is 1,338, and so on with the rest of the information. And finally, I created another Power View to see the crimes by counties. So in this Power View, I created a map, so we can see here in each county the total number of crimes. But we have a problem with this map, because as we can see, some of the counties are not on the right place, because this is a map only for the New York State. And for example, we have Albany in the wrong state. So a solution for this problem is to go back to the raw data. So I'm gonna insert filter, and I'm gonna filter Albany, and I'm gonna put New York, and we have a lot of them. So something that I use in my job is I'm gonna copy, and I'm gonna use Ctrl Shift down to select all of that, and then I'm gonna paste. So it's gonna be much easier. This is a shortcut. So I'm gonna select all the data again, and one of the problems is that, as we can see, we put Albany in New York, but this is not giving us the right address. So we're gonna select this data, Ctrl Shift down. We have to create another Power View. So we are gonna create another Power View. We don't want the years, only the county and the total crimes. And we can see that now is different because we have Albany, New York, and let's see if it works. And as we can see, we don't have Albany over here. We have it on the right place. So all in all, I think this project was very useful because I learned a lot about how to create pivot tables and how to use Power View to summarize large data sets and create pivot charts to better understand the data. Thank you very much for your time.